A very good evening to our viewers. Thank you for joining us tonight on the evening review. My name is Toiwan Jabela, your host for the day. Tonight on the platform, we are joined by Elvis Goseb, who is a social justice activist based at Walvis Bay. He and many others converged in Windhoek this week to discuss a series of issues that they feel are common among them across those regions, and which they feel continue to be ignored by authorities, including the line minister of rural and of urban and rural development. Mr. Goseb, thank you very much for making time. It's a pleasure to have you for the first time on the platform. I hope it will be the first of many visits. Tell us about this common denominator that seemed to have brought everybody together in Windhoek. What are those things that pulled all of you together?
Thank you, Toivo, and it's a pleasure to be here on the coast visiting the Central.
Yeah.
The common denominator that we are facing right now is the ministry that is failing us. The ministry being the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, specifically Honorable Erastus Uutoni. So I must say that we have written letters together with all the activists from different towns as well, as we have also concluded a press conference today. So we have our common denominator is the minister, who is not answering. He's not coming back to us with the demands, the request, and all the correspondence that we are sending to him. I must also state that in Swapo, I met him personally, and I asked him, as you can see, I mean, I believe you have seen the pressure that we are putting on the councils, not only in Walvis Bay, but across the whole of the country. Why is it that you are not responding? I asked him. It was a handover of energy houses in Swapo. So he said that no, it's fine. You continue with your fight as an activist or as a community, and I will only come to Walvis Bay upon the request of the councillors. The very same meeting, I asked the councillor, one of the councillors was present, and I asked him, why are you guys not calling the minister then? And he said, no, we have called him on several occasions and he's not coming to the party. So that is currently the challenge that we have.
Yeah. What are the issues, if you can cite some of them?
The issues, number one being one of the popular one, Red Force, that is now almost like a cancer in Namibia. And we have service delivery, which is it's a bit wide. We have housing delivery. If I can elaborate a little bit on housing delivery in Walvis Bay. I was at NHE, the NHE office that is there, and I asked them, why is it that there is no housing delivery for so many years? And they said it's because of politics. Walvis Bay is captured by politics. They do not want to deliver the land, or they do not want to work together. Our neighbor Swapo is in agreement with NHE, and they have a housing delivery, which I just mentioned just now. Over 126, I think, I'll speak under correction, houses that were delivered because of the partnership and the working relations between the council and the NHE. Yes. And there are other issues, such as in Walvis Bay, we do have the sewage all over the streets, potholes all over the streets, and literally when you have to drive on Walvis Bay roads, you have to drive side by side just to get to where you want to go, and it can cause accidents. Yeah. So it poses a danger, and the town is so dirty as well. We held a cleaning up campaign as well, and but it was some people pitched, and we still feel we need to do more.
These problems in Walvis Bay, Elvis, are they new and therefore confined, if you like, to the current administrators of the town? We know that after the 2020 elections, there were a change of fortunes, political fortunes in the town. There's a new regime there led by IPC essentially. Are these things happening now only with this regime, or they were carried over from long ago and the new leaders simply did not solve them also?
I would say it got worse. It got worse. But I would say it was a bit better. But now, with like you have rightfully said, it's now a new kid on the block that came, which is now IPC, and Swapo, who wants to now the pool is between the two. So the other one wants to come back in power. The other one wants to maintain the power. So that is what is currently happening. And as the saying goes, two elephants are fighting, the grass is suffering. That's why we have service delivery that is compromised currently. Yes.
One of the issues, and maybe as a resident of Walvis Bay yourself, you can elaborate on it, is the crime, this violent crime, people being stabbed, just killed in bars or just on the streets, a person gets stabbed. It's quite disturbing. It hasn't been like that before, has it?
Yes. That is also a pain that we have in Walvis Bay. And on top of that, also boys and girls, people that are getting missing, and after a few days they are back. And yes, the killings that is there, it was never like that. We don't know what is this change, what is this trend that is now forthcoming. But I spoke to a station commander in Walvis Bay, and it was an idea that I had, so I approached him and I asked him, why is it that we cannot pull in the NDF for them to also do the patrols as we did during the time of COVID, to have what is this curfew times, so that at least we can curb on crime rate. Because if people are walking around after 10 and so forth, I think that's where it also mushrooms.
Yeah. The challenges, and we will talk about the broader picture later, but I still want to talk about Walvis Bay for now. Do you think that central government is also failing? Because of course we can talk about the councillors, the infighting with their suspensions right now as we speak. Even the Red Force issues seem to be dividing councillors. Some seem to be pro it, some are totally against it. But on issues like land, like housing, for example, which is an NHE, a state-owned enterprise, and do you think that this is a purely a responsibility of those that are leading council, or do you think that there are things that are beyond their power? I'm asking this question because in 2020, when Swapo was sort of flushed out of Erongo and became a minority party there, there was this sentiment by Swapo leaders, we own the purse, we have our hands on the purse, so we will starve the people, the opposition there, so that they do not shine with our money. What is your reading of the situation in that regard?
I would say the sentiment that you have, I will concur with it, because that is exactly what is happening at the ground. Because a new kid came on the block, and they might have had, I'm saying might have had plans to improve, but because of maybe the central government holding them back, and because as you have rightfully said, currently councillors are suspended, which is now Swapo councillors as well as so. The IPC is now also playing their game, because they are managing the whole management committee. So yes, the central government plays a role in the lack of development, but we cannot entirely also blame them to say that no, they did not, because I've asked whether there is a strategic plan since 2020 to 2025, but there was none. So how is it that you are running a council without a plan? A plan will be a map for you to know that tomorrow we need to do what, and the next day we need to do. How is it that you are waking up in the morning to say that what is it that we have to do? Are we looking at where the sun is shining or not? So this is also a hiccup for development in Walvis Bay.
Yeah. And in your meeting in Windhoek with your fellow activists from other regions, are they raising similar issues in their towns? Is it because I'm trying to think whether you find yourself fighting the same battles, and therefore you feel that if you unite as a united front, that you can be more powerful in your voice.
Yes. Yes, the issues are across the board. I mean, and I'm glad that because my fight was in Walvis Bay together with the Walvis Bay residents, and we could notice that Windhoek was fighting the same fight, and it was Red Force and all the other service deliveries and all the others that I have also mentioned. So the issues are the same issues. That's why today we decided, let's get together, let's join forces, and I believe if we are united, we will have a bigger voice. And our approach is actually that we want to go now to the president, actually, since the country is a three-tier government, which is the judiciary, the executive, as well as the legislation. So we decided, let's go to the executive, the head of the country.
Yeah. The minister, I mean, if the minister is, because there was an article in Namibian Sun this week about Gobabis, where two councillors, one of them is I think, chairperson of the management committee there, also wrote an open letter to the public, to the residents of Gobabis.
Yes.
And one of the allegations that they made in that letter is similar to what you're telling me, to say that the minister essentially is ducking them, if you like. Is it because, I mean, why would the minister, a line minister, be ignoring some of these things? Is it because he's overwhelmed, it's too much, and he can't go to every town? Or is it a case of a minister who doesn't seem to be in touch with the situation on the ground, in your assessment?
In my assessment, I would say, I don't think a minister can say there's too many issues in the country, because a ministry is run by so many officials. But I think if I have to look at the lens, through the lens of management, I believe maybe planning is also one. Number two, maybe it's total ignorance of what the residents are going through. And number three, I mean, it's just maybe we should also be cognizant that the minister is also from a political party. And I believe since it's also an election year, maybe it's also playing a role in why he's not coming forth. Or maybe they are also waiting for a perfect time to intervene and to play the hero game.
Yeah. We go for a very short break and then return with Elvis Goseb.
Thank you.
Our conversation with activist Elvis Goseb from Walvis Bay continues. Let's engage more about your meeting in Windhoek with others. How many showed up? I know that you mentioned, I mean, how many showed up? Where are they from? And apart from what you said earlier, that you want to go and see the president, maybe what are the other resolutions that came out of that meeting?
Thank you once again, Ntebo. We were anticipating to have at least 14 representatives from different towns. However, we managed to have, I think it was 5, of which I am from Walvis Bay. And we had representatives from Windhoek and the Shack Dwellers, Katutura. Reboth we had Gobabis as well. So others could not make it because of the far distances that they had to travel. But at least we could say that we formed a quorum, and the message went out. The message being that we want to see the president at all cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If President Bumba was to avail himself today, just for some reason, I know it's a tall order, but I think leaders must listen to people.
Yeah.
Now, if he was seated in front of you today, how would you want him to respond to your issues? For example, you mentioned the issue of Red Force. I know that there was a group of business people that went to State House the other time. I think Naloba, the union, the Association of Businesses.
Yes.
And I remember the Vice President of Naloba, Mr. Amadila Kanu Amadila, also addressing the issue of Red Force. What is it about Red Force that is giving you a sleepless night as a community activist of Walvis Bay?
Article 8, 2B of the Namibian Constitution speaks about the degrading and no any inhuman treatment of citizens.
Dignity, essentially.
Yeah. Yes. So, in my view, water is being disconnected, and water being a basic need of a person, and so people like in Walvis Bay, they take buckets and they have to go to the ocean where they get the water from. So I don't know whether they do boil it, what they do with it, but it's a basic need, and it gives me a sleepless nights because people are without water. They at least need to bath, at least need to drink. So if I were to be president, if I have to put myself in that seat, I would look at this and at least give some relief, at least come up with something, listen to the suggestions that come from activists such as ourselves and the whole wider communities.
The argument by Red Force, especially in their filings in court, with respect to Walvis Bay in particular, was that the people who are complaining are actually the defaulters, who are guilty of not paying their bills, and they are therefore conflicted, and therefore they cannot be seen as an objective voice in that situation. What would you say to them?
Yes, defaulters are the ones that are given to Red Force for collection. But we should also look at why are people defaulting. We have a situation in the country where high unemployment is experienced, and businesses are just a little over the threshold, just going for surviving, actually. So people are defaulting because they cannot pay. And during COVID times, there was a directive that was issued for taps to be open, and some of these bills accumulated since that time, and I believe it's one of the reasons why. Yeah.
And what would be the best way to deal with it? Is it for the municipality just to allow people to do as they please, not paying their rates? The municipality gets incapacitated to deliver those services because there's no money coming in, or what is the best way to deal with a situation like that?
I think the council needs to call the residents so that they can sit down and have a talk. I would suggest a debt relief program, maybe with amnesty also, so that at least both parties can be happy. Because for example, if a debt has been accumulated over 10 years or 20 years and it stands at, let me for argument's sake, 130,000, how can I pay 75% of 130,000 just like today? And I do not have that money to pay the debt. So I think they need to sit down with their community and then come to an amicable solution.
Yeah. Maybe they'll say they have tried that already, but I don't know.
Yeah.
In Windhoek, Sean Goseb, who is also a fellow activist of yours, but based in Windhoek, one of the things that he said on this show, if I remember correctly, was that they want a system where the municipality cut off the water at least early he was, I think he mentioned the figure of 6,000 to say that as soon as you hit 6,000, at least, and your thing is becoming all debt, but is standing at that amount, at least cut it already at that stage.
Yes.
Instead of allowing people to accumulate 50,000, 70,000, only for them to have their things maybe auctioned off because of these debts. Do you think that can also be a workable solution, so that at least cut off early, afford people a chance to, while they still can maybe secure 3,000 or 5,000, half of the amount that is owed, and have their water reopened again?
I think that's a very good suggestion from the fellow activist, and I think if for each town it will be different. 6,000 is good for Windhoek, maybe for us, maybe it will be 3,000. So I think that will be one of the suggestions that can be incorporated in the debt relief program, which I have mentioned earlier. Yeah. So I concur with such a suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minister Erastus Uutoni, what must happen now with him? Are you saying as activists that you have lost complete confidence in him? That, as a matter of fact, when you are writing to the president, would you suggest, for example, that he be shifted to another portfolio, or actually be ushered out of the exit door altogether? Or what are your views on the minister's future going forward? Because you don't seem to have a lot of faith in his work.
I would say yes, I've lost faith in the minister. We have it on record. There's a video that was circulating whereby he was saying we need to do away. The councils need to do away with Red Force. They need to speak to the people. They need to negotiate and come up with amicable solutions. But completely, we have lost faith. Personally, I was drafting letters to his office, and there was no response. As I also previously alluded, I also met him personally, and he basically just referred me to continue with my. I think the president should just get Mr. Uutoni out of the way for us and replace with somebody who wants to go to work and do the work. Yes.
How frustrating is it for a citizen writing letters to their leaders, trying to engage their leaders, and there isn't much correspondence coming in return? I'm asking this question also knowing, of course, that there is a lot of writing that land on the tables of ministers, so maybe it's not very practical to respond to everybody. But I think when there's a persistent issue that seems to be serious and it's true, it's not just made up allegations, how frustrating is it that somebody will just keep ignoring you as a citizen? Because those are your leaders.
Yes, those are our leaders, and as leaders, they need to lead by example. And we look up to leaders. I mean, since our childhood, we thought that once you write, they will respond. They will come to your rescue. But it is very frustrating to write, to do everything in your power. And on top of that, for a leader to see that there were trespassing of laws here. There was corruption that was committed here, or that was done here, and then him having evidence of that, and just turning a blind eye to that. It's frustrating. That is why we are escalating to the president right now.
These issues, how much do you think they will shape or even impact the outcome of this November election? Do you think that people on the ground, the mood is really sad, that it could also affect the way the voting patterns? Do you think it will play a role in how people vote, or do you think it's a non-issue as far as elections are concerned?
We should know that it's the people that put government in power. Without the people, I don't think we will have a government. The people are hurt currently because of the blind eye that they are given. and it's something that's coming a long way. They are crying and they want their demands to be met, but the government is not coming to their aid. So I believe, and I can see and I can sense that there will definitely be an effect during the upcoming elections. Many people have vowed not to vote. Many people have vowed not to take part. That's why I think the registrations figures will also speak for itself. Yeah.
And as activists, are you also agents of change? Do you confine yourself strictly to social issues, or do you influence people's minds before elections to say that, because like you are saying, you seem to suggest that change is necessary in the political setup of our country, especially in your town. So will people, do you speak to them that voting is one of the ways to deal with those challenges? Or do you just say, look, red force, and then you confine yourself to those issues?
Voting is actually a right for a person, and voting is actually done for change. And we all want change in one way or another. We want to see new development come. We want, like in Walvis Bay, we want to see roads being repaired and so forth. So we have tried and tested the current leadership, and we see that there is a stagnation of service delivery. So I think people should stand up and they should vote, but they should vote wisely. Yeah, I'm not suggesting who they should vote for, but they should vote wisely.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The last question to my brother is the way forward now. So you have converged in Windhoek. You seem to have had a productive and fruitful engagement with each other. Your way forward, of course, is to elevate to the president. But what if the president is behaving like his ministers and simply ignore? Do you retreat, or would you contemplate new ways to deal with the matter?
At the moment, we definitely will have to caucus as activists, and I do not want to currently reveal what will our next step be. But definitely, we will take steps if it comes to that the president does not want to attend to our call. So yes, we have some arsenal.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Goseb, thank you for coming to the platform.
Thank you so much.
And keep. I think it's good for our country when, especially young people, organize themselves to fight a cause for their community and not just for themselves. So it's very encouraging. So we wish you strength in your fight for justice.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Everyone, thanks for having me.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
That is Elvis Goseb. He's a social justice activist from Walvis Bay, speaking from Windhoek, where he and others, similar-minded activists, converged to discuss the way forward as far as the challenges that they face or that their towns face are concerned. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.